is up, everybody? Welcome to another fresh take. Vicky, how are you?
I am doing good. Can't complain.
Okay, so Mandalorian season 3, episode 7, entitled "The Spies," which kind of threw me off a little bit, to be honest. The title of this episode, but this episode, we got one more episode before the season finale, so this is the penultimate episode. We see Moff Gideon. Giancarlo Esposito is back as Moff Gideon, and he is still smooth as all get out. So
Uh-huh.
they gonna have to kill him. That's the only way this is gonna stop.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you don't kill him dead.
Yeah, this ain't. Yeah, this ain't. The way things are going, this ain't gonna end well. Because our favorite evil chick, that's clearly evil, in the cyberpunk section of Coruscant, tells Moff Gideon that the Mandalorians were responsible for saving Navarro, which basically like, okay, we got to speed things up. Then from there, we get to see that the remnants of the Empire are still around, and they're being smart about it. They're like, look, we can't show that we together. So
exactly.
we need to keep doing our little pirate stuff and employing other people while we gather our strength. Makes sense. It just makes sense. Because number one, the Republic, as we've seen throughout this season, they're either stretched too thin or did not realize how big the galaxy was, which to me doesn't make a bit of sense. It just doesn't make sense. So we still haven't gotten any closure on the whole Pershing thing, other than they need him for the cloning situation. But I'm thinking, and I want to ask you about this as well, I'm thinking they're trying to tie this in to that sequel trilogy, and they're trying to make it make sense as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get that same feeling?
I think so.
Yeah, 'cause certain stuff just don't make sense. I'm like, I don't think you can fix some of that stuff.
No, you can't.
Yeah, so I see this episode they tried to with that whole little meeting of Moff Gideon and them. They did throw out Grand Admiral Thrawn, who we know is the villain for the Ahsoka series, which makes me think he's showing up in the season finale. It makes me think that because they already introduced him at the Star Wars event. They already introduced him. So,
yeah. But who's okay? So that could be our big villain. But who's showing up as
the hero?
The hero.
I don't know. Because last time I thought it was somebody, it turned out to be Luke Skywalker. I was completely wrong. So I have no idea. I have no idea. At this point, it may be my best Jedi that shows up. At this point, I don't know. But we know somebody's going to have to come through, because the Mandalorians, they do go back to Mandalore. We come to find out that there is a Monster Hunter sized kaiju on the surface. These Star Wars creatures be coming out of nowhere sometimes. You be like, the hell you come from? And why ain't nobody know you was here? And what on God's green earth made you wake up?
But like, maybe it's like a goldfish, right?
Okay.
Hear me out. Because they tell you that if you have a goldfish, don't just throw it out into the ocean or the lake or whatever, because they grow to the size of their environment. So it may have been somebody's little pet, and then when they like abandoned and they had to run away, and the pets were just kind of thrown about, it could have just been able to grow because it wasn't, it had a bigger environment to run around in.
And radiation.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're basically, every time something good happens, they're about to do something good. Here comes a monster come out of nowhere. Okay, I'll get with that. I do like, though, from a story perspective this week, we do find out what actually happened during the first purge of Mandalore. And basically what happened was Bo-Katan tried to save her people by making a deal with Moff Gideon. That's how Moff got the Darksaber to begin with. He outwitted her, basically. He didn't beat her. Because I was wondering, I'm like, You ain't gonna tell me he beat her in one-on-one combat. Hell
No.
no. So, but he outwitted her. That's how he got the dark saber. So she trying to save everybody. She made a deal, and he reneged on the deal immediately when she gave up.
You can't make a deal with the villain. Like, that's why they say don't negotiate with terrorists. Like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
They're not going to stay true
To their
to
word.
whatever. It ain't happening.
Yeah. So that I like the fact that they actually talked about it, and we found out that them two actually have history, which makes me think she's going to kill him next week. I think Moff Gideon's dying next week. I also think, and I find this actually hilariously obvious, that he would actually stay on Mandalore. I'm like, why did I not see that? I'm like, he would have did that. The whole curse situation was to keep people out of there.
Yep. So he could build and whatever and have no problem because ain't nobody there.
Yeah, that was according to the Empire meeting in the first year of the episode. Basically, that whole section was his. So that's why he was doing all that stuff. So it made things a little bit more interesting from my take of it. I do like the fact that the armorer leaves, but she doesn't know what's going on. So I'm wondering if she's going to come back. Because she doesn't know that they're basically on the run down there. And they found them. They found the forge, and they found basically his upgraded suits that he has, that he gave to his regular troopers. Mm-hmm. But I did like the action sequence of the week where you saw the Mandalorians fighting and coming together, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I see why he said he got to take them out, because that small group is a problem. That small group that they have could be as bad as a Jedi, essentially. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like that. What did you like from this week's episode?
I mean, old boy was like, bing, bing, bing. He was taking them all out. Big man.
Oh, yeah.
He was taking them all out. But, people in red came through and it was a wrap. But I'm saying, he's like, bing, 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 bing. He was going in. But that just made me sad. I was like, we've been rocking with him being for against, but you know what I'm saying? He been there.
Yeah. He did. He went out strong, but that's why, and I wonder why he kept asking for Praetorians. He's asking for Praetorians because he's scared of Luke. Now, my question is, did he tell them that Luke is still around? Because I don't think he did. I don't think Gideon told him that Luke was around. Because if he did, all of them would be scared. Because there's no Sith there to, that they can occupy his time with. Mm-hmm. So, and the Praetorians, to be fair, the Praetorians are the better versions of the Dark Troopers. But a Jedi can still, as we saw in Last Jedi, and it was a room full of them, and it was just two of them in there, and it was a room full of them, they made mincemeat out of them. So, and he only has 3. Because that's all they were going to give him. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that next week. But the action sequences this week were actually pretty good. I actually like the actual story beats they dropped.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about what you would call it. Grogu and his little robot.
Yeah, I was getting to that. So if you like IG-11, They basically turned IG-11 into IG-12, which is basically a mobile suit for Grogu.
It's what was that game? Titanfall, right?
Yeah, it's Titanfall. It's his Titanfall suit. Which I'm thinking is going to come into play next week, because I thought it was going to come into play this week, but it didn't, because Din does get captured, and they all have to get out of there. So I'm wondering if what they're gonna do with Grogu and whoever comes to help on the light side of this whole situation, they're gonna be teamed up, because it's very, because from what I understand, they still got all the weapons on them. Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll see. But yeah, that was actually pretty cool to have to actually give him a suit because, like I said, it's becoming obvious when they have to move and do stuff. The animatronics ain't keeping up.
No.
So you got to do something else. And okay, putting him in a suit may work better for the time being, in my opinion. So what do you think?
Overall of the
suit.
Oh, the mink suit.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I mean, I do wish we had the personality back of the droid.
Yeah.
But you know,
I think everybody's mad at Taika Waititi right now.
Yeah, and think about it, Grogu. You know what I'm saying? Like people were complaining about like him.
Yeah.
Walking like that. Well, now he's in a robot. So now it makes it easier for him to move around, not have to fly in the little pod. Like he can be more mobile. And as you saw, he was able to stop the two Mandalorians fighting. Like no.
Yeah. And they stopped.
And
they actually stopped, which surprised me because I was like, Bo-Katan, Jen, y'all ain't gonna go do nothing? Nope.
I mean, sometimes sometimes people gotta work things out. So you can't really, like the leaders can't really, whatever, jump in. Like they have to like work things out.
Here's me hoping that Dan can get another Beskar spear, since he should have never gave that spear up. Since he don't have a dark saber, so because I'm pretty sure Moff Gideon is gonna want to re-up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna it sets up a very interesting episode, a very interesting season finale. So that's the thing that I'm actually looking forward to is the season finale and seeing how this all turns out, because I'm just thinking from my thought process, I'm like, you're probably gonna have to kill Moff Gideon. Thrawn is probably going to show up since they already name dropped him and we already know who's playing him and we know he's the main villain for Ahsoka. I would not be surprised if he shows up next week, especially with them basically saying, trying to insinuate that he ain't real.
Yeah.
In this episode, in the beginning of this episode, they tried to insinuate that he's not real, and we all know he's real. So I'm thinking he's going to show up, and when he shows up, he's going to let Moff Gideon to die. Basically, that's what I'm thinking. Because at this point, okay, what else can you do with Moff Gideon? I love Giancarlo Esposito, but what more can you do with him? I mean, he's got to go because the bigger threat is already here now.
Yeah, and like I mean, while he's been like a great, sorry, somebody invited me to play a game on Steam. So while he's been a great problem, he's not
the main one.
Yeah, it's time to move on from him.
Yeah,
like you can't keep having the same enemy for forever. Like this gets to be too much.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I said, I love Giancarlo Esposito, but yeah, it's probably time for him to step down a little bit, just because I don't even know if they're doing a season 4 of Mandalorian. I don't think anybody said anything yet. Anyway,
I don't know, but like I like.
Me too, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything that they're doing a season 4 yet. I know they're doing a season 3 of Bad Batch, but they didn't say anything about a season 4 of Mandalorian. That, from what I've seen, I know if they have, I know somebody in the comments will correct me. But I haven't seen it. But other than that, I thought it was a great episode. They upped the ante with Dan getting captured, and with I forgot the guy's name, the big guy getting killed.
Big man.
Yeah, the big man getting killed. And Bo-Katan pretty much being like, I'm gonna cut your head off. And Moff Gideon, basically. So they set up a lot for next week's season finale. And this was a long episode. This wasn't a short episode. It was like,
it definitely was like it was a heavy episode. There was a lot going on.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen with Moff Gideon's spy. I don't know what's gonna happen to her. Hopefully, somebody figures something out. But I mean, she's clearly evil. But whatever.
I mean, yeah, just clearly just evil.
I'm like, just like she ain't even trying to hide it no more. It's just like, bruh, she might as well just have it tattooed on her at this point. Yes, I'm evil.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tat across her back, Empire for life. You know what I'm saying? I just thought at this point, I'm just like, could y'all have tried to make it at least a little bit more subtle? Nah.
Nope.
Nah. But what do you think overall thoughts?
Overall, the episode was well done. I enjoyed it. The action was well placed. Everything was good. So now it's just a matter of who's gonna come save them all.
Basically, and how this last fight's gonna go. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting. So let us know in the comments what you guys thought about episode 7, The Spies, and what do you think is gonna happen next week. Vicky, anything you want to pimp out before we get out of here?
Yeah, as always, come by Fangirl Review on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. We got some exciting things coming on, so just stop on by.
All right. Don't forget, Winging It Podcast tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about the Sony PlayStation Direct with Final Fantasy 16, as well as our thoughts on the Tears of the Kingdom final trailer, as well as a couple other things that happened this week in gaming. Thank you guys so much for the support. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week. Peace out, peoples.
Bye.